extraordinary start to the year that we have had with Vegas, with the World Club Challenge, with some big crowds, some absolute bumper crowds. We've got that to look forward to as well, that 30th birthday party, so look forward to that with lots of celebrations and nostalgia in a couple of weeks' time. But it is going to be Bradford who get us underway here. First touch of the ball as Rowan Mills kicks it downfield will belong to St Helens, a chance for them to bring it back with a little bit of earnest in the opening stages. Clemmer playing his 300th career game today, so there's some expertise and experience there, and St Helens immediately looking to keep it alive with Kyle Felt on that far side. Some talk about when do we see Rolly ball. Well, maybe there's a first glimpse of it.
Well, you know you're going to get that from both of these coaches. They'll throw the ball around from anywhere on the field. If they've got an opportunity out wide, they'll go for it. They're there to entertain.
Well, they've got themselves inside the Bradford half very quickly here, haven't they? Hastings goes short to right, and Wright trying to punch her way through. Clark up to dummy half, and back through the middle from Delaney, and 5 gone with 1 to play. So here we go. Hastings off that right boot, just spinning it up. There's a bit of a contest over there, but well, Felt couldn't quite get there, and it's a safe catch in the end.
Well, we're going to get plenty of ball movement in this 80 minutes of rugby league, but I think that this is what Saints are going to be looking at, sticking Bradford in the corner, challenging them to come out, really trying to take the attack away with some decent line speed.
Well, they too are looking for a bit of width here in the early stages of this set, but Connor Wynn in fact gets a penalty. Wrestled too much on the ground, so that's a big boost for Bradford with a chance to get some easy yards here. Yeah, well, the right winger did a decent job, didn't he? Managed to get on the outside of the right-hand post, and then his urgency to get up and play the ball earns his side a penalty. He's big, he's powerful, isn't he? A set that starts inside the St Helens half, led by Easton Masters. Who's going to be just rocked around and rolled back. Interesting to see him and Nenny MacDonald on the same field together, isn't it? Opposite sides of the field, but nonetheless at Salford they were quite a pair. Doubling up at times, and Bradford pushing themselves closer. Andy Ackers strolling up to dummy half. This is Mellor. He'll drop it back for Chamberlain to have a push, and Chamberlain just held up by some stern St Helens defending. Ackers again. Here's Mellor. Short pass, and almost Lewis punching a hole through. Ackers again. This is the last play now. It'll be Mills who tries to roll it in, but it's dropped on. And St Helens will have it back safely enough. It was a good, strong, powerful run, wasn't it, from Logan Lewis? He's not the biggest, but he certainly lays the line. Nice little kick, Saints get the ball back. I think it was George Whitby. And Bradford now just trying to slow the play down. Nenny MacDonald with a decent carry and a quick play of the ball. So what, it's been end-to-end already, hasn't it, in the opening stages of this game? We've only played 3 minutes, but full length of the field used by both sides. Crushing effort from Wright. Pick up from Clark. It's a slip, but Hastings now, I think he was outside the 40 when he leathered that, but it doesn't matter anyway because it's bouncing fairly central, and the skip and the hop will turn it into a bad kick. It's a tap back on the 20. Well, they get 7 tackles here now, just overcooked that kick, didn't he, Hastings? And like you said, it's end to end this game. You're not being disrespectful when you're saying that when you look at these teams play, that they will throw the ball around. I'm not saying they disrespect the defensive work, because they'll turn up and they'll try and do a number, but short side players as well are a big part of what they do. No one's getting penned in their own half at the moment, are they? Both sides are getting some yards. Well, the big thing is, Dave, you just got to keep on building your sets, getting through them, turn the ball over on your terms. Here's Hooley with the play. Ackers goes for a little wander. Masters, he's seen something that he quite fancies from dummy half. They've got a full width of the field to work with on this, the final play, should they require, but they decide to go high from Hooley, and Sailor's up there, hands off him as he reaches up in the air and comes down safe. Well, that's a good take, he was under some pressure from Aikins and Joe Mellor. A big take at the back. Oh, nice carry from Murphy. Got some yards. Whitby going wide again. It's MacDonald who's travelling with danger. Just about dealt with. But it'll come back with a little more threat. Saylor again, Tristan Saylor, searching back into the pocket from which it first emerged. Clark stepping away from a diving challenge and gathering another 10 metres. So it's another set as well. The referees said another set of 6. All the looped pass doesn't come off. It's going to be MacDonald who's urging for the corner. Just about held up, but they got 5 tackles from here. St Helens. What can they do with this? Clark to the middle once more. Delaney with a push. There's a platform. Clark to Hastings. Hastings with a short pass. Wright almost pushing his body through that, but the challenge was good enough. Shorrocks dropping it off for Delaney. Still a couple of plays to go. Clark comes left. Hastings again with a dummy. Hastings trying to twist through those defenders but can't find a way. And Clark again. And a short ball, and Shane Wright just plunging over for a little bit of early glory. It's his 3rd of the season, and St Helens have their first of the evening. 6 minutes played.
Yeah, they'll be really disappointed. They did a decent job defending that set up to more or less the last play. Shane Wright goes in off a little crash ball. I think they were all expecting the ball to go out towards the wing, and Shane Wright, like always turns up. The former Salford back rower just comes on a crash ball, doesn't he? Gets on the inside of Luke Hooley, gets on the outside of the fullback Aitken, a simple crash over. And that's the problem. If you give Saints that field position, they'll exploit it. They've got enough players there that'll take the opportunity to take you on.
There's the Brains Trust in the box. And Hastings has a chance to add the 2 from the touchline here. Disappointing start to the season, of course, for St Helens with that 14-24 loss at Warrington, but since then they squeezed past Lee, close game, and then won rather more convincingly against Catalan, 36 points to 4 last week. And here an early start with the lead, and Hastings, I think, has pushed it wide, so it remains at 4 points to 0.
Well, he thought he got the ball over. Jackson Hastings, well, do you know what, they'll always go route 1, won't they, Saints? They'll do the damage centre field, and then they'll look to shift the ball to either edge. Jackson Hastings, a big part of that, but a nice little play and a crash over, and here we go.
He thinks he kicked this. No,
missed it.
He missed it. Both touches. I mean, sometimes you might get one touch judge who's not sure, but both touch judges were fairly sure there, and that's I think that's the correct call, isn't it? Kurt Haggerty in the middle of that coaching box. St Helens looking to build again.
They won a big performance from his team. Kurt Haggerty is a local lad, isn't he? He retired from the game at 27, done a really good job, forged a career coaching, and highly respected.
Delaney pushing a little wider.
He's put some size on this year, George Lane. He must have put about 5 kilo on.
Shorrocks, Hastings. Oh, it's hit a Bradford player, I think, this. So I think it will be St Helens who get the ball back again.
Again, just trying to play the game with some speed. Jackson Hastings managing everything in the middle. Joe Shorrocks tips it onto him, and then you can see, I think is it Luke Hooley that it comes off.
Yeah. So head and feed for St Helens. George Whitby to feed this. Got a few missing, haven't they? Wellesby, Lomax, Walmsley, Lees, Parsley amongst those who are absent for St Helens, but that is still a very decent team they've put out there.
Some size of the salary cap, that, isn't it, with those 4 players.
Saints back inside the Bradford half. Clark, Shorrocks, Delaney scissoring back towards the middle. Now it's Clark. Shorrocks again, and Hastings. Was there a tackle off the ball? There was a late contact which will give St Helens a penalty.
Ryan Sutton comes in He doesn't miss, does he? And just got to make sure that you get this timing right. Shorrock likes to get his hands on the ball 2 or 3 times. He was well and truly committed to that. The speed that he was going in, like, he couldn't pull out. But it's going to be interesting to see what the video ref says. He certainly hit him. And credit to Joe Shorrock, who takes the ball to the line. He takes the ball to the line, passes the ball.
Careful. Really careful.
Yeah.
He's up at the line. Stick hold of it.
And you know what? I think that's the right call. That because he was committed. He's got to get the timing a bit better.
Well, 2 points on offer, but the way St Helens have started, they rather fancy they can turn this position into 6.
Do you know, I'm going to give a big rap to Joe Shorrock as well for getting up, because he certainly took one he could have laid down and try and force the penalty out of it.
Here's Clark. Shorrock again, and Clemmer just bouncing off the first combatant, but finding another couple in his way. Well, they're edging closer to that Bradford line again. Hastings with the dummy and stepping through, and he just had his ankles tapped as he tried to lunge for the line. Clark, Shorrock. Bradford's line is out quickly, and Delaney in front, so Shorrock has to just give himself up there. It's back with Hastings, and loops it up, no look pass, and maybe he should have looked because the ball goes to ground.
Yeah, there was enough support on the outside, wasn't there? He tried to hide Tristan Saylor to just pop off the shoulder, and maybe you can see when he gets the ball there, he's hoping that Ryan Sutton's already made the movement to go out to Shane Wright, because he may have been spooked by a few players. The game seems really, really quick from Saints at the minute.
It does, doesn't it? It is noticeably being played at some pace, but only 4-0 at the moment for St Helens.
And that's why field position's really important as well, because if you start getting those quick rucks and you're defending your line, you've got to, as a defensive line, you've got to spread out a bit more. You can't be as tight.
Well, another game going on at the moment, as you can see, and Toulouse trailing 18 points to 0 against Wigan. So that Wigan start to the season is still looking ominous, isn't it? It's gone backwards. Aikens collects safely. Ryan curting back, and the referee was just allowing an advantage to be played there to see if there was any. There wasn't, so Bradford get the penalty.
Well, again, the ref, Jack Smith, he's consistent, isn't he? I think he's saying that Kyle Felt has just took a Bradford player out, and once you're committed, you see that you go in. He's just hit Wonga Blake on suspicion, like he said.
Kyle Felt certainly had an explosive start to the season in terms of try scoring. Got a hat-trick in the opening game against Workington in the Challenge Cup, and he's added 4 in the Super League since then, so 7 tries already to his name so early in the season. This is Mills, who just tries to prompt on another set of 6 here. Sutton just tucks it under the shoulder and will drive it in. So it's a great position Bradford find themselves in, and plenty of plays to have a nibble here. It's Lewis. Clemmer hanging on. Mills, and back to Aikens, chiming in from full-back. Ackers across there. Here's Mills again, and Mellor tries to run away, but Shorrock won't let him do. 2 teammates, former teammates together. Ackers out of acting half again. Mills will put the kick into a very vacant area there, and the dive will produce the try. Ethan Ryan with a finish, but there was so much space for the kick to aim for. It was executed superbly and followed wonderfully well by Ethan Ryan.
Well, like I said, you get those set restarts, you get that field position. Ethan Ryan just hugging the touchline. Scored 3 last week against Toulouse. Just looks up, the call's there, he puts his hands up, calls for the ball, and it's a nice little delicate kick, isn't it, from Rome Mills. He gets on the outside of Carl Felt, who just hasn't got the speed to turn and get back there and prevent this. He was trying to look at what was unfolding from Bradford, what they were going to throw at them. And Bradford just patient up near Saints' line And look at that for a kick and a finish. They'll back themselves, this Bradford side. I said just the one loss this year for Kurt Haggerty's men at Hull, and a game that they should have won.
There's no great outburst of emotion there, is there? But probably thrilled to bits with that response. Rowan Mills with a chance to actually give his side the lead here.
Yeah, inside I'm sure he'll be chuffed to bits, won't he? And he knows as well, he's just got to do the hard stuff, the basics, get the basics right here. Control field possession, control possession, be really disciplined, get on the back of a decent kicking game, and you'll be okay.
So Mills is steadying himself. It's not a gimme by any stretch of the imagination. So close to that touchline. He's hooked it from the shortest of run-ups, but he's hooked it wide, and it remains at 4 points apiece.
Well, again, just the big thing for Bradford was coming here to Saints and getting on the scoreboard, and Ethan Ryan did that. A nice play from Andy Ackers, Sutton as well, just passing the ball out, delivering the ball to Rowan Mills, who didn't have to change his stride, gets the ball in front, which makes him able to deliver the kick for that man. Paul Rowley and Lee Baines, they'll be disappointed.
It's not the top-thumping atmosphere that you perhaps expect at this ground at the moment, isn't it? Obviously, they've just conceded a try, and the Saints fans just a little down in the dumps. But even before that, there's a concern. Physio's on as well. He's being...
Is it Connor Wynn?
Yeah, just being asked if he can play the ball, and he can, so he avoids the green card, but the Saints fans not happy with that.
Well, all that means with lying down for that extra couple of seconds is that next card is going to be really tough. And Ryan Sutton put his hands up then.
Physio still attending to him and has given him the all clear now. Connor Wynn, so Bradford still from deep inside their own territory. Ackers, and bouncing onto it comes Lewis. Well, the Saints fans finding their voice now. Trying to urge their side to keep Bradford trapped inside at this end. That's a lovely little couple of steps that has taken Mellor a few yards further forward. Last play, so Milnes putting some height on that, and Saylor taking safely enough and finds an efficient chase from the Bradford line.
You know, you like seeing him at full, but I think that's his best position. He's got some speed. We can certainly unlock some defences like this man can, Lewis Murphy. He's looked strong, hasn't he, carrying the ball.
Jackson Hastings having a word with the touch judge, not sure what that was about, asking a question about that tackle that was in front of him. Cross, and now Clark, and Clark quickly away, and a good offload, but not hung on to. Shorrocks gets it away, but it's knocked on, and it means that Bradford have a chance to build again from relatively close to the halfway line. Wonga Blake's had a very impressive start to the year. I don't think St Helens fans were over-impressed at his time here, but started well at Bradford.
I think the Saints fans will be looking at him thinking, is that the same player that wore a Saints jersey? He does look totally different.
Here's Ackers. Mellor. Ryan Sutton dealt with by 4 defenders. Milnes trying to weave a little bit of magic. Ackers with numbers on that left-hand side is cutting back towards the middle, though. Oh, that's a big hit from Sirinen, and it was a high shot from Sirinen, so it will be a penalty for Bradford.
It'll be interesting, this.
Apologies, it's Clemmer, isn't it?
Yeah, and again, fair play to Ackers. Just jumped straight up. And where was that contact initially made? Oof. Well, the more you see it, the worse it looks.
Well, the video referee's having a look at this. The penalty's already been given. It's just a question whether there is further punishment here.
And again,
gave it Clem as the player, mate.
And again, the video ref and the ref will be just having a little look at this. But again, I'm going to give some credit to the man who got hit, who stood up.
Get on.
Wasn't trying to milk a penalty, the same as Shorrocks.
Well, we can hear one side of the conversation. We can hear that Tom Grant is clearly telling the referee, so let's hear what he has to say here, drawing out David Clemmer.
Show the contact to the head. It is force for dangerous, but it doesn't meet the threshold of high-level force, but it's 10 minutes in the bed bubble.
Well, there you hear the explanation. Forceful and dangerous, but not high-level force, so it is 10 minutes in the sin bin. So St Helens reduced to 12 for the next period of play.
Do you know, if Andy Acker stays down, I reckon that goes up in its high-level force. But again, you don't want to see that from rugby players, and that's why I credited both him and Joe Shorrocks. Clemmer knows he got that wrong. He's probably, when he looks back on that, he's probably thinking a big sigh of relief, really, that he's can come back onto the field in 10 minutes.
Well, a chance for Bradford here to take a lead. The way St Helens started the game, certainly looking the better team in the early stages, reflected in that 6-minute try from Shane Wright, but since then Bradford have dug deep and not only got themselves back level, now they find themselves ahead 6 points to 4.
It's been a decent opening 20 minutes nearly from Bradford. Conceded the first try on 6 minutes. Clemmer goes off to the sin bin. Andy Acker's okay to play, so important, Andy Acker's, for this Bradford side. And you can just see he dips and he launches into him, he sets his feet and just explodes up.
Well, once again, I mean, it has been the theme of the year, hasn't it? Toulouse clearly struggling a little against Wigan today, but the newcomers, York, giving Warrington such a fright last night. And here we have early stages of the game, only 20 minutes or so gone, but Bradford very much up for this and just ahead, and with an extra man for the next 10 minutes as well.
Oh, great carry from Ryan Sutton. Doesn't make any meters, but he earns a penalty. You just look at the way he carries the ball into 3 players. Do you know, he spent 7 seasons, was it, down in the NRL? He just pins his ears back, goes as hard as he can at Shorrocks and Delaney, earns his side a penalty.
Yeah, Canberra, the Bulldogs and the Titans in the last 7 years, but last couple of years have been a real trial for him, haven't they, because of the injury situation he's had. He's come back here not with a point to prove necessary to anybody else, but just to himself. Hooley, short of the halfway line. Mellor. Milnes again. They've got some numbers here as well if Aikens can get it away, but he can't. And this is Ackers. Time in the other game, by the way, over in France, and you can see that Toulouse have nibbled a little back on that lead. 6-18 the half-time score. There's a kick and a chase here with Milnes off that left foot. There's a chase back here, and George Ripley just has to palm it to safety because there were numbers in that Bradford chase.
Again, just creating some momentum, weren't they, going forward? You kick on the front foot through Milnes. And they're just building a bit more pressure now on this Saint side. Whitby was the man who got back to knock the ball dead.
It's been such a start to the year when you shelve expectations before you come to a game, because you simply cannot predict how it's going to go. Lewis bringing it back for Bradford. Here's Ackers. Once again, just looking left for Sutton. Ackers searching that blind side again. Hopkins on the scamper. It's another set of 6. And suddenly Bradford have the air in their sails and will score again. Connor Wynne diving at the corner. They score early in the tackle count. They are all over St Helens at the moment. This is wonderful from a Bradford Bulls point of view. They take that lead to double figures, 10 points to 4 now.
Well, they've got some urgency, haven't they? 56% possession in their favour. And they really are taking this game to Saints. I mean, really, well, Kurt Haggerty will be really pleased with what he's seeing here. Ron Milnes, look at the time he's got on the ball. You've got a couple of players, I think it was Dion Cross, who jumps the line, puts a bit of pressure on his winger. And you look when he goes across, he's just holding the ball. At the right time, he throws the ball over the top, because Murphy's got to mirror exactly what Dion Cross does defensively. Dion Cross chose to go in the space out wide for Connor Wynn. And wow, what a big 10 minutes from Kurt Haggerty's men.
Well, they beat Catalan, they beat Toulouse. The first game of the season, they lost to Hull, and we were both at that game, weren't we? And it was one of those games when you probably think that Bradford, on another day, would have won. They could have won that day. It was a very tight finish. And here they are, leading at St Helens, with 22.5 minutes of the first half played. Hooley strikes it. Oh dear, that's two he's missed now, Hooley. 10 points to 4. It remains.
Well, Connor Wynn scores the try. He scored 2 tries in that game that we were at Hull. Connor Wynn against his former side. He's a big, powerful man, isn't he? And he goes in as long as they keep knocking over the points in their favour. Lee Braves, Paul Rollier and Carroll will be really disappointed with the last 10 minutes, 12 minutes in particular.
Well, we start again. 6-point lead Bradford have, and thoroughly deserving that lead as well, the way the game has gone so far. St Helens need a response here. Big crowd that demands success and would have come here today in expectation of beating Bradford, but getting a bit of a lesson here as Wonga Blake, the former Saint, makes a track. It's a slow get up. He might be a little bit injured as well. This is Ryan. Advancement to the halfway line. Mellor for Lewis. Lewis pushing. Harry Robertson coming on for St Helens in place of Nenny MacDonald. That is an interesting choice. I wonder how that. He's just gone into that right centre's position. I wonder how it develops, whether he stays there or moves more in field. Anyway, the kick is from Milnes. The catch. Oh, if it had gone, Wonga Blake, if that had gone to hand to Blake, that was another walking day for Bradford.
Do you know what? It was on, wasn't it, as well? He catches that ball, he tips it back on the inside. It was a clever kick for Ethan Ryan. He just panicked a bit. Couldn't get the ball to Blake.
They had them wide open on that far side. Saints are being rattled at the moment. Here's Cross.
That's a nice solid tackle, isn't it, from Lewis.
Here's Saylor.
I'm going to give Lewis, Ryan Sutton and Joe Mellor a real big rap for carrying the ball. I think Joe Mellor 11 carries, Ryan Sutton 8 carries, plenty of meters, making the hard yards, laying the platform for Bradford.
Here's Akins with the return. Milnes shoring up. Back for Ethan Ryan, who's come to the centre to just help that search for yards here from Bradford. Masters. Ackers. Runs again right up to the line and tries to show and go. He showed, but he didn't go. Akins. This will be the final tackle of the set. Milnes keeping it low this time. A bit of back bending required. Oh, and it was perfectly weighted because Lewis Murphy in the end was hoping it would go dead, but has to do the job himself.
Wow, you've got to have nerves of steel at the back, haven't you? Look at him. He'll be disappointed. It was a great kick again, wasn't it, from Milnes? Instead of going for the crossfield to win, he goes towards the post, and you can just see just a little touch from Lewis Murphy, knocking the ball dead. And again, a bit more possession. The possession for the Bulls is now up to 59%.
Hastings puts a bit of depth on that as well. They don't fancy trying to get the ball back here. They do back themselves to defend with what's coming next. But Bradford are bright. They're playing with lots of verve. And they come again. That's a quick ball from Blake. And here's Ryan. Has to try and drag it back on the inside. And Felting is on the far side, who falls on that ball. It's a huge relief from Saints because they had been under a lot of pressure up to that point.
Yeah, and was it George Whitby, was it, who come up with the tackle? Or was it Harry Robertson? He was one of the youngsters that managed to come in and force the error back in field. Now Saints again just trying to put the foot on the accelerator there with some of the outside backs.
Lewis Murphy proving a bit of a handful. Hastings, leap by Whitby towards the halfway line, and on the last play Hastings will just try and get that ball to the corner, make it as hard as possible for Akins on his return. The Saints chase is good as well. The injury news, by the way, from Daniel South. Nenny MacDonald is off, not for an HIA, but he has got what we're told is a knock, and he's in the dressing room being assessed, so he might be able to come back on the field.
Well, he left the field last week with a thigh injury, so whether or not it's a occurrence of that injury, a player that you would put in the side, Easton Masters, trying to get involved. He's been pretty quiet in this game. Aribi Doro onto the field. Again, just an old-fashioned prop forward, goes straight and hard, no real footwork here.
St Helens going to be back to the full 13 in just a second or so, because the simulating of Clemmer is about to come to an end. It's like Noah Stevens is going to be coming on the field as well in a short time. But they're back to 13. Clemmer back on the field. St Helens fully numbered up again. And Saylor trying to find a bit of dazzle. Clark. Here's Murphy. Uribe Doro springing out. Clark almost obstructed by his own player Murphy there, but manages to nibble an extra couple of yards from that situation.
You mentioned him, Noah Stevens is on the field now for George Delaney.
This is Clemmer, fresh from his break. Clark. Shorrocks. Hastings with a flat ball. Shane Wright, no room to move. Oh, another set of six. It was the fifth tackle, and they've restarted the tackle count, the referee. That's hugely in St Helens' favour. Can they take advantage here? Clark. Hastings drops it back towards the middle again, and Sirenen with a juggle. Clark. Shorrocks. Stevens with a fresh pair of legs and lungs. It'll be Whitby. Oh, dancing feet from him, but desperate defending from the Bulls in the end. Saylor, big cut-out ball. Murphy on this left-hand side, but it's going to be stopped in his tracks. Hastings, Stevens, and now the last, Clark again. Hastings once more, right up to the line, trying to bully their way over, but this time Shane Wright finds his way blocked, and hats off to the Bradford defence.
Yeah, they were really good. They were tightening up around the ruck early, weren't they? Working really hard. This is going to be a decent set of six for them now. Anyone who's feeling fresh in a Bradford shirt, just get in the middle, get your hand up, carry the ball. Help some of them bigger men that have been chewing up the meters centre field.
Well, it has been exhausting just watching on here. There's some effort going in from both sides at the moment, with less than 10 minutes of this first half remaining. Thoroughly entertaining as well, as Doro goes bundling forward. Ackers. Oh, it's a reach from Ryan. He's done well to take it in and then find a path back infield. One play to go. Felt got in to put pressure on, but the kick was still away. Saylor with a simple catch. Immediately looking wide here to see if there's anything he can try and cook up, but he can't.
You know, Paul Roll would be pretty disappointed with that set of six. They had him trapped in the corner, and he managed to get to the halfway, carrying the ball. On play two now, still 64 metres away from Bradford's line. I think let him off the hook in that set of six.
Clemmer with a drive. Shorrock's back to Hastings and Saylor with the quick hands, and it's quick hands all the way to Murphy, and Murphy tries to get the speed on, but he's not going to get past Hooley. Hooley just about did enough so that the cover from Chamberlain can complete the job. But St Helens now, suddenly with the wind in their sails. It's Robertson, and away by Felt, and Felt keeps it alive, and Robertson takes it on. Clark decides there's no obstruction line. Clemmer will just hammer it forward. 10 away from that Bradford line. Last play in this set. Clemmer fancied there should have been a set restart. Referees having none of it. Hastings puts the kick high, and well, it's going to be knocked on by Ryan. It's going to be St Helens who get the ball back over on that far side. By the way, we're having one or two picture and sound issues at the moment, I understand, so apologies if that is spoiling the entertainment of what is a top quality game at the moment in terms of entertainment.
Well, he's a go-to man, isn't he, Kyle Fell? But Ethan Ryan, he goes up, he backs himself. Unfortunately, it doesn't come off. And they've scrambled really well near the try line, just conceding that one try on 6 minutes through Shane Wright. But since then, even when they've been asked all them questions, they've come up trumps, haven't they? Bradford, can they keep the Saints out again?
Here's Stevens. 7 minutes to the break. Clark. Robertson now trying to provide a bit of width. Well, there's a good, honest Bradford defensive line. Although I think they've come from a... Oh, it's a high tackle. High tackle.
Offside anyway.
Yeah, high tackle was it on Robertson, but they were offside. I think he was going to blow for the offside anyway. He had 2 penalties to choose from, then the referee.
St Helens are going to run it. Of course they're going to run it. They need to bust the seams off this Bradford defence. Clark. Hastings coming in at speed, and Saylor is cut right down by Connor Wynne, who reads it well. Hastings again. Stevens. There's a lot of effort going in from St Helens on attack, but there's even more effort coming in from the Bradford defence at the moment. Back to Hastings. Saylor blocked in his tracks. Clark. Shorrock's just hurling it wide. It takes a bounce, which might help them a bit. Whitby looking wide, and Felt is isolated over there, but he does well to keep that alive. And Robertson with a chip in the chase. And who fancies this? Well, it's Doro who followed it all the way and bowls it out of play. Safety first.
Well, Bradford not having any heroes jumping the line trying to solve the problem themselves. They've been working really hard. They can't force an error. A nice kick from Harry Robertson in behind. And I think Aribi Doro, the sub, just knocks the ball out. And again, it's another set of 6 they've got to contend with here.
What do they do here? Short or long? We shall see. Yes, gone for distance. Gone for distance. They've got a lot more defending to do here. They don't want to give any yardage advantage to St Helens, but that is very well earned by Stevens.
And possession now, 50-50.
Another set.
Yeah, they seem to be getting quite a few of those lately, aren't they?
It's Clemmer. Just adds 1 tackle to the tackle count, doesn't it? That delaying of things. Clark, Shorrocks, and Stevens with a gallop.
Again, another penalty.
Offside.
Yeah. They're getting spooked down. They play the balls are far too quick for them. They know they've got to get back with the referee, and they just can't do it. Saints are just trying to play the game at a different level. Under 5 minutes to go to half-time. This is where good teams get you.
Clemmer sets the platform. Middle of the park, 5 to go here. Shorrocks on a step by Whitby, but can't get away. Smothered in defence. Saylor. We know he's got a bit of toe, and he has the capability of just whisking past defenders, but not on that occasion. Clark again. Shorrocks and a step on the inside, but again Sirenen closed down. Clark goes quickly, cross comes back in again. Shorrocks now. Stevens from a standing start tries to push in, but this Bradford defence looking so far relatively comfortable here. And Saints have one play to go. Hastings chipping for the corner, and it bounces. And Akins, I think it is, who somehow come up with that ball.
Wow, look how close he is to the sideline. Oh, good luck with that carry, Ethan Ryan. He does well not to be forced back over the try line. Connor Wynne now. That's a big effort from the right winger.
Well, the first two, they were barely over the whitewash, but that third effort has taken them much further downfield. They're looking again for a bit of width. Lacking a little go forward. So only a couple of plays to go. They're still very much deep inside their own territory here. Sutton. And now there's one play left. It's going to be a kick, we know that. It's the boot of Rowan Mills. Here's Saylor. Looking to launch attack again, but quickly up there was Hooley to close things down quickly.
Yeah, that's a big effort to get over the halfway line, considering where they were trapped. Saylor, Murphy.
Another set. Under Douglas.
Energy-wise, they're absolutely killing themselves with these 6 against. I know they've got to control the ruck down, they've got to get the contact better.
It's with Hastings who pops it over the top. Well, Murphy is waiting and he puts the foot down as well. But a great tackle. Brilliant tackle from Masters. And they keep it alive. And there's even a chance of Akins trying to turn this into a more attacking situation.
Do you know, you can have all the skill you want in the world. If you haven't got desire, determination, and you're not focused, you'll end up losing games. And I just think that there's some spirit in this Bradford side. The amount of times we've seen them broken and they get him back. Murphy, you had him down to score that try.
Lisa Masters looked to be beaten for pace all end up there, didn't he? But somehow managed to get there. And it's a brave effort from the Bulls still. 2 tries scored by them, but they've had to do an awful lot of defending. And since that right try in the 6th minute, they've kept things intact. Ethan Ryan takes to the touchline, so projecting that ball downfield. It's straight across to Cross. He's having a look for any potential weakness, but none found, because sliding effort coming in defence. Saints trying to build again, trying to get themselves back where they were, put themselves in striking distance. In the last minute, this will be the last set for St Helens in this half. Felt's come to the middle. Running out of tackles again. Another set of 6. But there's not time to get a full set in, surely. Sirinen. Hastings. Who wants this? Clemmer. Offloads. Shorrocks. Stevens now. Putting a big drive in again. Clark at dummy half. Shorrocks down the middle. The ball right across and into the hands of Ethan Ryan. And Bradford now should finish this half with a relative comfort of ball in hand.
Well, again, credit the defence, forcing Saints into making that error, playing catch-up. It's been a massive 40 minutes from Kurt Haggerty's men. And Saints have just been waiting to get into the changing rooms to get the words of wisdom from the coach, Paul Rowley.
Well, the hooter sounds. And that is the ref. Well, Bradford rather fancied they got another break on there, but the referee said no. The game, actually, the half actually finished with that tackle. But what a story we got writ large across this stadium here at half-time. The newbies continue to shine. Ethan Ryan scoring Bradford's first in that first half. Connor Wynne followed him to the try line. David Clemmer on his 300th career appearance tonight. And the rest of his teammates wondering what they have to do to subdue this Bradford Bulls side.
Challenge Cup, lost to Hull in round 1 and then beat Catalan to lose. 2 big results for them, and now they've turned up at Saints and they're absolutely backing themselves. It's just how much energy have they got. Both wingers scoring a try, and those fans will certainly helping them along, aren't they? But you're going to expect the response here from Saints.
Yeah. I mean, Bradford, we saw from the half-time stats, missed a lot of tackles. 6 against given away. is it a question of whether they can keep that energy and how much has that drained their energy?
Yeah, look, it drains you a lot, like 6 set restarts to give away, along with 3 penalties. The good thing for them is they've completed at 90% when they've had the ball, so they've not been forcing errors and then having to defend, but they've been scrambling really, really well. But it's how long you can keep doing that, because Saints are going to come out with a different mindset, a different beast. They're going to try and play the game at a next level speed-wise.
Well, it's a long, long way from being over this game, isn't it? We know that we're going to have a real battle royale in this second half. Referee Jack Smith just waiting to get the thumbs up to start this second period. Paul Rowley back in the Erie looking down. It'd be fascinating to hear what he had to say at half-time. And indeed Kurt Haggerty as well. I mean, we've not made too much of this, have we? But that partnership, that coaching partnership, chatting to both of them yesterday and saying, if you'd have said 12 months ago that you'd be coaching St Helens and Bradford against each other, that would have seemed remarkable, wouldn't it, just 12 months ago?
Yeah, incredible. And all the stuff that happened at Salford, like Paul Rowley was to step upstairs and Kurt Haggerty was to be coaching them going forward, but they now find themselves at 2 new clubs against each other. Good friends. We saw them on the sideline before the game. And full respect as well.
Here's Fulton. The referee just always giving it away. He's giving it away.
And you don't need to do that. You're winning by 6 points. You're at Saints. You're a minute into the second half. You just put yourselves under pressure.
Just wonder, the referee just heard him say, we'll see what happens here. And I just wonder whether Zach Fulton was just slightly unfocused because of that. Anyway, St Helens with a chance to build here. And needing to get themselves back up and running as soon as possible. It's Darrell Clark. Joe Shorrocks again. Hastings for the inside path for Shane Wright. To have a push. Clark. Shorrocks comes on at pace. Hastings drops it back. This will be Sirinen. But they've only 1 play to go, and they've had a number of occasions when they've been this close and not been able to find a way through. Is this going to be different? Felt timing the jump, but I think he's knocked it forward. Yep, it's going to be Bradford who get it back.
Yeah, there's a genuine competition in the air again between those 2 wingers, Carl Felt and Ethan Ryan. Felt goes up, well placed from Jackson Hastings. He just can't quite bring it in.
But how much does that frustration grow from St Helens again there? Because they've had some really good field position and not been able to turn it into the points they would have liked to.
Yeah, well, they didn't really have to work for that field position, did they? Because the offload from Fulton. So Bradford have got to tidy that up. And Saints, well, then they don't have to score that set of 6. They've just got to keep on knocking on the door.
Here's Wayne. Oh, and he's got a good pass away as well. And suddenly there's an opportunity. There's support here as well from Ethan Masters. Back towards the outside. St Helens defence is scrambling. Wynne is going for the line and gets there. Oh my goodness. What a crazy, crazy try that was. From back to front, from 90 yards they went. And Conor Wynne very much involved at the start of that. Is the man who's there at the end. It's his second of the afternoon. And Bradford push out to a 14-10 lead.
You know, spent a lot of time in the Championship after being released by Hull FC as a youngster. Many people saying that we can't get 3 teams coming up into Super League. Well, this Bradford side, Toulouse and York, have shown with some decent acquisitions as well that there's plenty of players in the lower grades here that can step up to the mark. Conor Wynne is one of those. Look at that great play, interplay between him and Masters, and again there's no panic from them, and he backs his ability, he backs his strength to go in for his second try of the game. And Bradford under some pressure, weren't they, when Fulton offloaded the ball 40 metres out. I thought Saints were going to score from that. Carl Felt made the mistake, and then all of a sudden Bradford, in a blink of an eye, go to the other end of the field and score.
Well, that certainly put the cat amongst the pigeons here. The atmosphere again has taken a dip amongst the St Helens faithful, who are getting a little frustrated at the moment. But Bradford are playing superbly well. Wynne almost falling over the line at the end of that. And now Hooley, who was very much involved at the start of that move as well, with a chance to add another 2, and he has found the target. 16 points to 4, Terry O'Connor. 4 minutes into the second half. They look very calm, but who saw this coming?
He's doing cartwheels in between his ears, Kurt Haggerty. No, big effort, big plays from them. Thing was Luke Hulu gets the ball over to Win, and Easton Masters and Win don't panic. Look at them just looking up, seeing what's around them. Is there someone in a better position than I am?
Well, we're only 5 minutes into the second half, but are we at the stage now where St Helens have to score next?
Well, it's certainly getting there. I'm going to give this man who's carried the ball in, Ryan Sutton. I talked about him and Lewis in the first half. I don't think he's been off the field yet, Ryan Sutton. He really has took the battle to Saints. He's been aggressive in his carries, really laying the platform, as has this man, Joe Mellor.
We're getting some news from the two dressing rooms at half-time. Kurt Haggerty wants more of the same. Apparently that was the message in the sheds. First 15 very important, and keep retention of the ball so important. Well, they've 2 big ticks and 1 cross there, isn't it? The retention of the ball wasn't great, but it didn't prove costly, because they have that score again. Bradford fans in the kind of party mood we've not seen since the early 2000s.
We're just giving a penalty away here now, which again will just help Saints. Darrell Clark just having a look whether he was going to go quick. Jackson Hastings will go to the sideline, just get an extra 10 metres for his side.
Well, it is still a winnable game from St Helens' point of view, make no mistake about that, but they have to come from a way back, and they have to find a way through. And Clark with a stumble. Hastings are going right at left-hand side, but I think the stumble might have just spoiled that intention. Clemmer, but again on the last play, again desperate to find a way through, and again failing to do so. In fact, no, it's not. It's still 3 to go. I thought the referee had his hand in the air, and there is a plunge there. And have they got over? Yep. Referee says he's seen the ball down, and Curtis Sirenen, well, the 2 back rowers in very similar positions at very similar stages of each half, have managed to get St Helens on the board. This time it's in the shape of Sirenen, and 8-16, and that gap narrows dramatically again.
Yeah, well, Curtis Sirenen getting Saints back closer to that 16-point margin. And again, you can just see they hit the front door, don't they? They go straight, they go hard. They go over the top of Bradford, and it's just a big, big carry from the back row. Well, like you said, Shane Wright in the first half on 7 minutes, Curtis Sirenen just coming up to 7 minutes in the second half, and that's just enough. And what's the mindset like now for Bradford? That's the big thing. Jackson Hastings just taking his time to make sure he knocks this one over.
Well, I think they might still be checking this. They've not confirmed the try just yet. They'll be having a look at the ground, and the referee said he saw the ball touch the ground, so it's going to take something quite dramatic for this not to be given. We're having a look. Oh, did the ball touch the ground? Did he promote it with a second movement? This is not clear yet. It's a long way from being clear just yet. Yep, the referee's stopping the clock, and we're going to go to an official review, I think, of this. Yep.
Yeah, you know, when you look at that and you watch it, he was short. First of all, does he promote the ball then? And Jack Smith said he saw the ball. He saw the ball over the line, which he did eventually get over the line. It's just how it did.
Well, this is huge, isn't it? This is huge. And St Helens thinking they're back in the game, and suddenly with a chance to build momentum. But if this is not given, back where we were. Video referee checking in the background. Oh, and try has been confirmed, I think. Yep, try confirmed. So for all the drama, it comes out the way it was originally from the referee's eye.
Again, just some nervous moments then. Kurtzson just trying to rally his troops, rally his side here. The video referee having a real good look at that then, to see how the ball ended up over the line. It was worth a look though.
Hastings with a chance to bring the score back to within 6. The flags are up. This one controversially in the first half, but that was very straightforward. 10 points for St Helens, 16 for the Bradford Bulls. 32 minutes still to play.
Well, you can just see he ramps up, he manages to get over the line. I wouldn't mind seeing that again, in all honesty. The video ref, well, he's okayed it.
News from the
Look at this.
Here we go, have a look at that.
It just stops, and then all of a sudden, does he promote the ball? Wow.
Oh, well, there's a hand underneath that, isn't there? Never seemed to come away. Anyway, it has been given, so let's move on. Back to the live action. Paul Rowley, by the way, very disappointed with the defensive process, he tells us, at half-time, and that his players have to tidy up their structure. That's his message. And St Helens suddenly playing with an extra vigour here again. The gap is manageable, but their opponents are redoubtable. So nobody is taking anything for granted still. Clark, Hastings, Surinam, bouncing away. Take his ankles away, he can't get any further forward. Shorrocks. Again, just arcing back inside their opponent's half and building pressure, but this will be the last play again. Hastings. Underneath it is a very competent Ethan Ryan.
You've competent and brave. That's what he was then. Knows that he's got to pouch that ball. That's what he's paid for. Catching balls like that and scoring tries isn't a mistake.
Oh, it's a knock-on.
Wow.
Well, Bradford are the architects of potentially their own downfall again here. Spilling possession unforgivably. And Saints, who don't need any more enthusiasm, but there is a captain's challenge here. Let's hear from the referee.
Tom, tackle one. We've got a captain's challenge from Bradford. Challenging the on-field ruling of a knock-on.
So the video referee is Tom Grant. Let's hear what he has to say.
Ruling of a knock-on. Just can't see much of the ball from this angle, so check to see if we can see much more on this. So into contact at this point, they're attacked to wrap the ball, at which they do. Falling towards the ground. Is there any pulling action at the ball? Lose sight of the ball at that point. Can't see much else. Oh, I can see the ball in shot now. Whose hand's that? Is that St Helens' hand on the ball? I can't see how. I can't see what actually happens to the ball. I can't see the underside of the ball. That doesn't give me anything. This might tell me more. So I can see the ball at this point. It's falling to floor. Comes back into shot. I can't see what happens. So I'm reviewing all available angles. This one is the best angle I've got. And I can't determine how that ball comes out. The challenge is going to be inconclusive. Make my decision.
Well, there you heard it, inconclusive. So Bradford do keep their challenge, but they don't overturn the decision, and St Helens are gifted position here.
Again, I think that's a lucky one. Noah Stevens had his hands on the ball. He's actually cupping the ball, and then the ball spills out of the tackle. Again, not the video ref, but I would have thought that call would have gone with Bradford.
Well, they've not enjoyed home comforts so far this season, haven't St Helens? Scrapping all the way against Lee. They're having to scrap here against Bradford, but are they about to put themselves back level? Tristan Saylor skipping through that fatigued Bradford defensive line. That's 2 tries now in the space of 3 minutes, and St Helens are up to the task, it would seem.
Yeah, well, all about speed, isn't it? Tristan Saylor just chimes in over on the left-hand side. You know, they get the ball here, they go right at the line. Jackson Hastings deep into the line, and he just manages to get between 2 players. Tristan Saylor, we go for the scrum, centre field. Jackson Hastings does a really good job of fixing and interesting those defenders, creates the space on the outside, and he just backed himself, didn't need a fullback. Gets in. That's what I like about him when he plays at fullback. he can pick his side and what he's going to do, and Paul Rowley knows what he's got in that man.
Looks a little happier now. I don't think there's been any change of those facial expressions throughout the afternoon on the Bradford bench, whether they've been in the lead, scoring tries or conceding tries. Tries confirmed in the background, so the shot clock suddenly starts. There's 30 minutes left to play here. There's no question about Bradford's attitude. We've seen in the opening 3 and a bit weeks now that they have plenty of focus, plenty of commitment. Could just be a question of energy if they can hang on. Hastings, and yep, that drops over, and we're all square again at 16 points apiece, and there's a fresh enthusiasm amongst the St Helens support.
Yeah, it's a big kick, isn't it, from Hastings to draw level. They're the team. They've got all the momentum at the minute. Some big performances from them, and Paul Rowley, well, he knows that his side now have got more possession than Bradford, and Bradford just making a couple of mistakes. The completion rate's dropping.
Well, they'll want to spend some time at that end of the field with the Bradford Bulls, just to snip the energy away from St Helens a little, because Saints in his last 5, 6, 7 minutes have really laid siege on the Bradford line and turned that into points.
And what we have saw from Bradford in the opening rounds of this year is they won't go away. We saw that in round 1 at Hull, even though they got beat in the end by 7 points, 27-20 I think it was. They didn't go away, did they?
Jacob Host up to play. Elsewhere, Wigan dominating in France. St Helens beginning to suggest they might be able to dominate here. Saylor getting himself involved much more now. It's out to Sirinen. Sirinen bounces off a couple of defenders. Back to the middle and Whitby. Again, they're on the last. Clark. This is Hastings, who will chip for the corner. Felt after that, but not for the first time. It's a safe catch by Ethan Ryan, but they've timed that to perfection, the St Helens defenders, to force the dropout.
Yeah, well, they made sure that they stayed on side, didn't he? I mean, Robertson and Felt, as soon as he catches that ball, again, you just look how precise that kick was from Jackson Hastings to drop it on the line. Ethan Ryan only had no chance of staying in the field of play with the on-rushing defenders.
Well, Nenny MacDonald, you might remember, went off the field back in the 20th minute, and he's been assessed ever since in the dressing rooms for St Helens, but he will not be coming back, is what we've just been told. So he's gone for the game. St Helens, it's clearly going to be a penalty.
Penalised on field. Curtis!
Who was that? The youngster Paposhi that just hit him.
Former St Helens junior as well, isn't he? Elliot Paposhi.
Yeah, just 21 years of age, and George Delaney would have been former teammates. Oof. It didn't look great, that, did it?
Well, we saw St Helens lose a man to the sin bin in the first half when Clemmer went off. Are we about to see that evened up here?
George Delaney's leaving the field, mate.
There's an HIA for Delaney.
Well, I think this will be exactly the same as the first one. George Delaney goes straight off to get a HIA. And we saw Clemmer 10 minutes in the bin. I'm sure this will at least be the same. It's just...
Well, again, the conversation, the unheard part of that conversation is from the video referee.
I'm not getting replays in ground here.
Looking at the replays, advising the referee. This is what he's looking at.
Oh, George Delaney. Oh, he's one of the most aggressive youngsters knocking around, does he? Oh, he hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be trouble ahead here for Elliot Paposhi. The Albanian international.
Paposhi, you're gone.
He's gone. You're gone.
Yeah.
You heard that. Red card. Shoulder made contact with the head. Bradford find themselves a man down for the rest of the game now. Elliot Paposhi. Well, it was such a sad day for him. Back at the ground where he was a junior, but sent off.
Yeah, would have wanted a massive game against the player he would have played with, coming through the ranks in the academy and scholarship, no doubt. And he leaves the field. He didn't miss. The video referee saying that there might have been some mitigation there, that word it come off his bumper. But the more you see it, especially the one from behind the Bradford defensive line, it didn't look great, did it?
He's going to be absolutely gutted, isn't he, for several reasons, Paposhi. And Bradford now have got some real work to do. All square, but 27 minutes still to play. And for those 27 minutes, St Helens will have a one-man advantage. Jacob Host. Clark. Saints desperate to push on and win this game at a canter if they can. Smith, Stevens, just pulled down. Clark. Hastings thought about the big one over the top. It's back. Sailor searching down the middle, but defence came out. Ryan Sutton came searching out, but somehow the ball's kept alive. Clark again, another set of 6. The pressure is unrelenting. If Bradford survive this, my goodness. But St Helens now given every opportunity to get their noses ahead. Sailor pops one over the top, and Felt will ghost in at the corner. Well, it was coming, but Kyle Felt still needed to finish that. 8th of the season in total. He's on fire at the start of this new year. And St Helens, for the first time in a very long time, find themselves in the lead.
Yeah, well, the tides have turned, haven't they? Now, in this second half, the costly penalty here, and George Delaney goes in hard. The more you see that, the worse it gets. George Delaney, not a player to stay down on the floor. And just look at the ball. It's a brilliant ball over the top from Tristan Sailor, who has all the vision in the world here, with the time and space, no pressure on him, and he knows that if he can float that ball over the top of Ethan Ryan, the left winger for Bradford, he'll be picked up by that man.
There's a very different mindset amongst those three at the moment than there would have been even 10 minutes ago.
And he's probably saying that the game's pretty simple there, isn't it? We don't have to panic. We get down here, we put the players on that we believe in, that we've practiced through the pre-season.
This is Hastings, right on the touchline. Tough angle, of course it is. And has he got it again? No, it's again just sliding past the... He questioned one in the first half. We were told at half-time officially that it went over the top of the sticks and therefore wasn't allowed. Well, that one clearly went wide.
Well, one thing for sure in this game, the way the game's going, 3 tries in the second half to Saints, Bradford need to score next. Otherwise, the scoreboard's just going to get away from them.
It'll be more settled, though. 20-16. What a turnaround we've seen. 11 minutes ago, Connor Wynn scores that try for Bradford, and they're leading 16-4. And you're thinking, good heavens. But since then, it has been all St Helens. And continues to be as well as they romp their way back towards their opponent's end of the field. Robertson.
Look at that, 2 carries.
2 carries, what, 60 yards? Here's Clark. Sharks again, and now it's with Host. Another of the new signings, Jacob Host. Sailor, who's having more of an influence. The ball that was pulled out went backwards anyway, the referee says. Wasn't touched by St Helens because the tackle count remains the same. There's Murphy. It's going to be a penalty for St Helens.
Well, they're just
high and
helping
off the ball.
themselves. Yeah, they're killing themselves, aren't they? Thought it could have been a penalty for a strip as well, but it's penalty for the high shot. All the good work that they've done in the opening 44, 45 minutes, they're just undoing that now.
He's down with his shoulder.
They're panicking. He's played well, hasn't he, Murphy? Carried the ball really strong. Made over 100 metres.
Who's the St Helens player down here? Oh, it's Darryl Clark, isn't it? Darryl Clark. So penalty to St Helens. They're going to tap and go. Keep this pressure on. It's been a permanent state of affairs for the last 10 minutes. St Helens at this end of the field. Here's Clark, having recovered. Hastings left to Saylor. Saylor with a left foot step, not once but twice. Host, more direct. Clark again. Whitby whisks it out to Felt, but there's not a lot on for the winger out there. So they search back towards the middle again, and Robertson trying to slide between a couple. Here's Clark, Shorrocks, Hastings and Whitby. Hooley with a tackle, and important as well. Kept alive, Hastings. Saylor, they're trying to create a bit of space for Felt. Robertson pops it up. Mob-handed defence. Last play. It's Hastings and Felt tries to get up there. It bounces off Ethan Ryan and he's offside as well, so it's a penalty for Bradford. News, by the way, we saw George Delaney going off earlier for an HIA test. He's failed that HIA, category 1, and because it came from a foul from the Bradford player, who of course was sent off, Poposhi, it means that the 18th man is activated for St Helens. So Owen Dagnall is available for Saints now for the rest of the game.
And a big loss for Saints next week, isn't it? Missing George Delaney. So before, he's put some size in, looks really up for a real big year for the Saints, especially with Matty Lees and Alex Walmsley injured for long periods.
Big game for Saints next week. They play Castlereagh in the Challenge Cup, don't they? And with this club's association with that cup down the years, that'll be a massive one for their fans. That was high.
It's a forward pass.
It's a forward pass he's given.
Yeah. And that's one of those players that you preempted it. You know what you're going to do. You want to tip the ball on. The ball goes forward to Logan Lewis.
Wigan marching on at the top of the tree, by the way. You'd have just caught that 36-16 winners at Toulouse.
Shot clock on. Come forward.
20 minutes to play. Can Bradford find a way of digging themselves back into the game?
Well, the big thing that Bradford in the second half to the first half, they weren't inviting Saints into the half with errors or set restarts, but they certainly are this half.
Saylor. One thing Kurt Haggerty has stressed this season, he doesn't want his side to be plucky losers. After that defeat against Hull, when they were plucky losers, saying we need to be disappointed that we've lost this game and come back stronger. And I'm sure he's not going to take too much consolation from his side's first half performance here.
Oh, there's a bit of a problem here.
Yeah, they've heard a snap, and Jacob Host is in a lot of trouble there.
Do you know, when you see someone hit the ground like that, they land on the front, they look to get up and play the ball quickly, but he's hit the ground because he knows that there's something wrong.
Oh, you feel for players.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Such a brave bunch, aren't they? That you know when a player's body language tells you that he is in absolute, genuine pain.
And the call for the stretchers come on now from the physio. They're just making sure that the ex-South And St George forward comes off the field and gets well looked after. You can see he just gets trapped underneath, doesn't he? And Logan Lewis, looking at him straight away, puts his hand up, gets the call for the attention of the referee to stop the game and get some medical assistance on.
Well, surely the stretcher can't be far away. It was almost like the physio said, you've got one good leg, let's get you off on that.
Honestly,
one.
Rugby players are absolutely crazy, aren't they?
Well, that doesn't look very good, does it, that right knee?
So you've heard the referee saying, I've heard a snap. The physios have said, right, okay, and the doctor said, right, okay, we'll get him off. Instead of the stretcher, he can walk off.
Yeah.
Poor lad. Well, you come from the other side of the world, you're in your first season at a club. You want to stamp your authority on the game over here, and that's really sad to see for Jacob Horst.
Just adds to that growing injury list as well. I mean, St Helens are not alone, certainly not alone in having quite a few injuries at the stage of the season. Walmsley, Lees and Parsi missing from that pack at the moment. It looks as though Jacob Horst could be missing for a week or two as well, and the head injury that we saw as well for Delaney. Here's Robertson. Get himself through an impassable avenue between defenders. Shorrocks, Hastings delivers out wide to Murphy. And again, it's the last. And again, St Helens find themselves so very close to the line. Hastings lobbing it up there. Pressure's going to be on one way or another. The ball has gone backwards. Then there's a knock-on.
And then I've got a knock-on by Saints.
Well, you heard it, knock-on by Saints. So Bradford come up with possession, and boy, do they need that.
Yeah, do you know, they compete really well on those kicks, don't they? The pinpoint kicks. Harry Robertson goes up, gets hold of it initially, then the ball's lost. But the kicking game's one of the big pluses for Saints. So close to the line, causes so many problems.
18 minutes remaining. Ribidoro trying to get some yards forward, but well dealt with by that Saints defence. And that's absolute copybook, isn't it? Kyle felt.
He felt that as well, Ethan Ryan.
There's Mills. Just running in treacle at the moment. Bradford can't get some major yards downfield, can they? Quickly done. We've got a Saints touch. Knocked on, but it'll be Saints knock on.
So you think the ball's not left his hands? Let me just explain to you. He's challenging the ball's not left his hands.
He's fast and he's hit him.
You can challenge it. You want to challenge it?
They are challenging it. Captain's challenge. You heard that. So, challenging that knock on. Here's Tom Grant again.
Yeah, that's fine. They'll review it now. Because that's whether it's left his hands or not, mate.
Captain's challenge from St Helens. They're challenging on through rather than knock on. They're challenging. They're claiming of it. The ball is still in possession when it comes out. I can't see much of the hands on that. Something from behind possibly. It doesn't offer much. Again, I can't see the ball or the hands on that. That don't tell me much either. So at the minute, camera 2 is out best. I can't see the ball there. I can't see whether it's left the hands or whereabouts it touches the St Helens man. So try camera 5. Again, I lose sight of when the ball's offloaded and if it doesn't hit the arm of Dion Cross. Because I've used all available angles there. The challenge is inconclusive. St Helens retain the challenge.
Well, inconclusive. You got why the challenge was made, didn't you? You could understand why Jackson Hastings was challenging that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got the first knock on.
They need every call going for them, Bradford, really, don't they?
25. Come back here.
And the ref, Jack Smith, he was explaining to Jackson Hastings what he saw and what he thought the call was.
Shot clock on.
Just one success so far from 6 challenges this season.
Take any time, any breather they get in the game with that numerical advantage against them, won't they?
Ball out.
2 Vegas returnees in action tomorrow. You can catch that on Sky Sports, of course, and Bradford, who need to get a strike here. Just had a little bit of daylight ahead there for Ethan Ryan, but it closed quickly. Chamberlain. I think that it was another cry of pain there as well from Chamberlain.
I think it's the 3rd man tackle from Joe Shorrocks that comes in and hits Ed Chamberlain on the side of the knee.
Let's have a look at this. Oh dear.
Look, I've been consistent throughout the years. When I've ever talked about these tackles, I absolutely hate the 3rd man tackle. Like, is it an attempt to wrap the arms around? Like,
it's going to be all right. Yeah, he's just reviewing, mate.
Your referee's having a look at it as well.
All right, Ed.
And the good news on the field is that Ed Chamberlain is hopping a little, but is going to be okay to carry on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah. It's a high level of danger.
Oh, well, we've heard the words high level of danger, which suggests there's a card coming out.
Oh.
No.
Here we go. Let's hear from the referee here. Yellow or red, I think, is the only question.
Mate, you can't come in, 3rd man at the legs like that. There's no attempt to wrap. No. There's a high level of danger. It's 10 minutes in the bed.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. So we're playing 12 aside for the next 10 minutes.
Look, like the margin for error on tackles like that, I think it's too small when players are moving. And to get it wrong, and Joe Shorrocks has had a really good game in this. He's been very good. He's been very good. The link between the forwards and the backs, he doesn't need to do this. Well, the players tackle it. It's like you're firing in there, your head's down, you don't know where you're hitting.
Well, it gives Bradford a lift because suddenly they're up against 12 instead of 13. And suddenly they're back inside the St Helens half, and they've not been here for a while now.
And again, that's a lift that Bradford needed, because they've been well and truly on the back foot since Connor Wynne scored that try in the opening minutes of the second half.
And there's only 4 points in it, we remind ourselves, and for all that they've been under the pump for the last 10-15 minutes, Bradford, they now find themselves in excellent position again. Akers. Mellor stepping off the left and then the right, deciding there is no way through. Noah Stevens slamming the door shut in his face. Akers will go for the line. Oh, and I think he's got there. The referee's having a look. This is going to be a try. Unbelievable. Bradford balls look down and out. A boxer on the ropes. But suddenly they're back in the contest. And more than that, they've got a kick to take the lead again.
Outstanding play, wasn't it, from the hooker, Andy Akers. His vision, his skill, good out of dummy half, isn't he? Talk about Darryl Clark, how dangerous he's been in this game. Well, Andy Akers, look at that. He just shows and goes. Clemmer just gets caught with his feet planted. He gets out with some speed. He dummies it to the left-hand side. He gets over Tristan Sale and has the power to get the ball down. He was brought in to do a job, and he's been outstanding in the earlier rounds. Andy Akers. Well, they just won't go away, Dave, will they?
I mean, it's a crazy, crazy start to the season, isn't it, from what we've seen so far. And this is another of those crazy, crazy games. I mean, for all money, you'd think, well, St Helens are on top. Bradford have a player sent off. They look like they're running out of energy. And then suddenly they get a chance at the other end. and the whole complex switches again. Big kick here from Luke Hooley.
Yeah, massive kick, isn't it? I said before, when there was a bit of a scrum and there was a break in play, just probably helped Bradford to recharge the batteries over a couple of minutes.
It's one of those games, whatever happens from here on in now, the Bradford fans at the other end will be absolutely buzzing when they go home in their cars and on the coaches, because they lead again. They just keep coming back. They just keep hanging on. They have something about them this year, and it's something very impressive.
Yeah, well, I talked to Kurt Haggerty at the beginning of the year, and I said to him, I said, what do you expect? What do you want from this year? What's success look like? He said, I want a team that the fans are proud of, that we go out there, we compete week in, week out, and they've certainly done that, haven't they?
Well, 14 minutes to go, and if you've written a script as to what comes next, rip it up, because nobody knows. Nobody knows. This still could be anything. This still could be a comfortable-ish St Helens win at the end of the day. It could be Bradford who win it. Oh, that's lost. Has it lost?
Yeah.
Has it been lost? Yeah.
Well, they've still got a challenge left here, haven't they?
Logan Lewis is claiming it's been stripped.
They're going for it.
He wants to challenge this. That's another big one here, because Saints get it back. They're in prime position. See from the video ref.
There's a captain challenge from Bradford. They're challenging the on-field ruling of the balls of a knock-on. They're claiming the ball's been stolen. Just looking whether there's a stealing action on the St Helens player. Five's the best angle. Lewis is falling towards the floor. The St Helens man, who is entitled to wrap the ball up, the ball comes out as part of the mechanics of the tackle. The challenge is unsuccessful.
It's two players pulling up in the direct, but one player pulling away from it.
Well, there was an air of desperation from Bradford's point of view. It has not gone their way. Saints have it back. Terry, thoughts on that?
Again, I'm going to disagree with the video ref on that. I think his arm was Logan Lewis. He has hold of the ball. The other angle I thought was better for the video referee. You can see there's I thought there was a tugging. When you're wrapping hold of the ball, you've got your arm, you're clamped onto that ball and the man. His hand was underneath the ball and it comes out.
Hastings, and now Saylor. Saylor puts a foot down. Bradford back on their goal line. They've spent plenty of time so far in this game in this position. St Helens need to find a way through again. Can they do so? This is Clark. There's an air of frenetic energy to the St Helens support, willing their team to find a way through. Clark to Hastings. Sheridan's way blocked by big bodies. So they're going through the tackles here. Still plenty to play with, but that's another one gone as Stevens slips to the ground. And this will be the last. Hastings again. Whitley, and oh, it's an interception. Ethan Ryan got in there and picked the pockets of Harry Robertson.
Well, he pulled the trigger, didn't he? Come in and he come up with the ball as well. And again, a couple of those Saints fans thought that he drops this ball. He gets the ball, and just as he's going down, there was a cry from the Saints fans that it was a mistake. And again, a big play from Ethan Ryan.
But this is not a comfortable position that Bradford find themselves in here. And it's a decent carry, very decent carry, which has taken them some valuable yards downfield. Connor Wynn. Well, not a bad finish from where they started after the opening two tackles here. The Bradford Bulls just pumping it up there, desperately hoping that Saylor makes a mistake, but Saints fans relieved to see him take that comfortably enough and bring the charge back.
And you know, it looked a bit of a laboured chase then from Bradford. No one really getting on the bike and getting up there for Sailor.
What a game again, though, for drama and tension and for unpredictability. Clark fancies a scamper, makes some meters, does really well here. 15 meters further downfield from where he started. Hastings, Sailor, a couple of dummies, and then earns some room, but he can't squeeze the ball out, and it's a penalty. Kicked the ball away, Masters.
Well, again, just doing all the good work that they've done. Mason Masters is one of those players that you do need involved in the game, but for the right reasons. Not for that. You could just see the ball comes out. Tristan Sailor, who's been a thorn in the side of Bradford in this game.
Setting a platform that sees them 12 strides away. Clark causing some palpitations amongst those Bradford defenders, but they deal with it as they stop Whitby. Plunge from dummy half. Again, a blanket thrown over that ambition. Slow play the ball. Whitby's going to go, is he? No, he's not. He turns it left. Stevens, 5 away. Couple of plays to go again. Whitby, Sailor, and here comes the surge from Robertson. But look at the Bradford defence. Oh. They've taken him out of play, have they? Yes, they have. Oh, my word. What a defensive effort this is. St Helens are thwarted again. It's astonishing.
Look, outstanding. Saints are trying absolutely everything. I thought it was a bit of a poor set, really, from Saints. Didn't ask enough questions. The ball goes out here. Harry Robertson steps back inside. Then all of a sudden he's trying to get the ball to Felt. But you look at the numbers. 5 players come across to prevent him from getting over the line. Full. And there we go again. Saints just getting off the line really quickly.
Well, for sheer guts and determination from this Bradford defence, you have to give them the utmost respect. Whether it's enough remains to be seen, but they are still fighting, and they still have that lead.
Well, it's a massive 9 minutes here now, isn't it, for Kurt Haggerty's men?
12 men of St Helens is going to be 13 again in a couple of minutes. And still leaves them with 6 minutes of the match remaining. Sutton, oh, and that was a touch. No, not played out. Not played out. So they find themselves on the last settle here, Bradford. It's a very slow play, the ball. Joe Shorrocks is back on the field. The ball's allowed to bounce. And it's taken by Lewis, but it was the last play. So it will have to be a handover.
He thought that he'd stripped it then when Saints got hold of it. He thought it was one-on-one, so they get the ball back. And the ball goes up, dangerous wherever that ball could have bounced then.
8 minutes to go. The 13 men of St Helens against the 12 men of Bradford. Just pure heart and soul from the Bulls at the moment. St Helens need to find some finesse. Some way of breaking the resolve of their opponents. Shorrocks and now Sailor. That's a good carry and the offload. That's super stuff from the full-back. Shorrocks. Closed down. No offload allowed. Clark again. Clemmer. How many tackles left? 2 tackles left. Hastings kicking early. The chase is on from Sailor. Oh, and the bounce hits the post, and it turns out to be favourable to Bradford as Mellor picks up and clears the danger.
Well, thankfully those post pads are a bit wider. You know, it could have gone to the left of the sticks and could have scored. Tristan Sailor pushing up, and again Saints flying out the line trying to force an error here.
It is
desperate for a penalty.
Absolutely on a nerve edge here. Cannot take your eyes off this. As Bradford full of resolve. Ryan. Bradford claiming a penalty, but there was nothing wrong with that. It's a game of rugby league. And here comes Lewis. And again, they find themselves inside their own half, having run out of plays. So again, it's going to take a kick. Right down the middle. St Helens fans urging their side back as quickly as possible. Murphy.
Yeah, look how quick that play the ball is.
Penalty.
Yeah.
Didn't do enough to get out of the way.
Yeah, well, Lewis Murphy's made so many metres, hasn't he, in this game. It's a strong carry from him. Oh, he finds the floor, he gets up, plays it. Bradford couldn't get out of the way at the back of the ruck.
So Saints come again. 6 minutes to go. Clark. Clemmer. Clark back in there. Closing in on the target. A reach by Shorrocks. Trying to pop one over the top, but again, Bradford putting themselves right in the way of things. Clark looking left. Hastings trying to make things happen. Saylor has looked the most likely throughout this second half. Sends it back into the hands of Whitby. Now it's going to be a step from Robertson. Can't find a way through. Whitby back to Shorrocks. Here's Hastings. Numbers on that left-hand side. Surely they're going to take advantage, and they do. They do. Somehow. Dion Cross finding a way, not through, but underneath to score the try that might just give them a match-winning lead. Who knows with the response we've seen from the Bulls, but that's a huge moment for Cross.
Well, that's massive, isn't it, for Paul Rowley's men? A big play for them. No, Bradford just wouldn't go away, would they? But is that the try that actually seals the game? And they go from one side of the field to the other. And Jackson Hastings releases the ball at the right time, and Dion Cross just backs himself. Gets on the inside of Eason Masters.
Try confirmed, by the way. You saw the ball just seemed to be lost there, but the video referee's had a look at that and has confirmed the try, and quite rightly so.
Yeah, it took some finishing, didn't it, from Dion Cross? Started his career there at Saints, then had to go away to a few clubs before coming back to his childhood club. And maybe that coaching team up there, are they breathing a bit easier yet? Who knows? He still knows they've got a couple of minutes to go, and Kurt Haggerty, well, they'll be disappointed if this game goes away from them.
Well, 2 from 4. If they do lose this, it'll be 2 wins out of 4. But in the 2 they've lost against Hull in the first week, and now this one, they had every chance of coming up with all the points. They might still in this. Hastings kick. Yep, flags go up. 26-22. There are still 4 minutes to go in this topsy-turvy game, so let's not rule out anything just at the moment. But St Helens in the box seat now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Saints, well, they play for the full 80 minutes, don't they? And it's good movement, isn't it? Shorrocks, Hastings involved. They get the ball over the other side of the field. Cross finishes it. And bet your bottom dollar they've got to go short here.
Couple of chances to get the ball back before the hooter sounds, and Bradford will try to get it back instantly, as Terry said, with that short kick, but it's a knock-on off a Bradford player. St Helens, and there's almost a feeling of relief around this stadium.
Yeah, I agree. They know that they've been absolutely tested, pushed to the limit in this game, haven't they?
Numbers, boys. Scrum numbers, shot clock's running.
A really good side. And they're going to cause some upsets this year. We said it round 1, didn't we, at Hull? That they're here, they're not here to make the numbers up, Bradford.
Well, St Helens know now they just have to prevent Bradford from scoring, and that will be good enough to win the game. And there are only 3 minutes remaining.
Let's go. Heads in. Ball. Ball's in. Ball's out.
Here's Saylor.
Help! Release!
This is Clark waiting.
Come on, release, Rowan!
It's not going to be too much fancy stuff here, you wouldn't have thought, from St Helens. They just want to see this through in the simplest of fashions. An eventful game David Clemmer has had, the sin binning in the first half, the 300th appearance of his career. Some reasons to remember this, and he'll remember it with a smile if it stays like this. Clark again, just one man out, just running the clock down and running the yards in. Final play. Hastings will be looking for a cute kick, at very least trapping Bradford in the corner. That's a very good take by Ryan, but he is trapped in that uncomfortable position.
Yeah, he's been good, hasn't he, throughout the game, Ethan Ryan. At the back, Joe Shorrock's going hunting, good line speed from the loose forward. Ed Chamberlain, nowhere to go there.
They have to go wide. They have to find a way around this Saints defence if they can't get through it. Connor Wynne battered to the ground, 10 metres out and 3 tackles gone. This is Masters. He's capable of a little magic. And right across it goes to Ryan, who immediately seeks an inside path. There's plenty of space on the outside, but he didn't back his pace. Little chip over the top, Mellors after that, and Bradford come galloping forward again. Mellors on his own here. Well, he'll kick, but there's nobody really up with him, and he's not put the chase on. It should be easy for Saylor. It is easy for Saylor, and that, with a minute left to play, might be Bradford's last chance. Murphy looking to skirt around.
And that's the thing, and that's the difference as well. When Joe Mellor broke then, nobody was with him. He was just hoping it'd take a favourable bounce. There's a penalty here.
Yeah. The gamble to try and nick one back had to be taken by Ackers.
Yeah, he's had a big game, hasn't he, Andy Ackers? He was going round, he was trying to get the ball back. You can just see he's lining up, he thinks he's squirt. He goes round, gets hold of the ball.
I think Noah Stevens has just been given the man of the match in terms of the St Helens sponsors. We'll find out Terry O'Connor's man of the match a little bit later, but it is going to be a win for St Helens, and we'll look back on this with a little bit of nostalgia as well. As we said right at the start, first meeting in 12 years between these two famous Super League names, and they've served up a treat in terms of tension and drama here. Saints happy to see this tick down. Bradford go away with plenty of credit, but St Helens vitally are going to go away with the points. Countdown on. Hooter will sound in the background and finally put an end to the Bradford fight and make it St Helens night. There's a bit of nonsense going on. That'll calm down in just a few moments' time, you can be sure of that. Frustration, I'm sure, from Bradford players, because against the odds for so often they looked as though they might pinch this game, but it is St Helens who see it home by 26 points to 22. Terry O'Connor.
Yeah, well, they've got some fight in them, haven't they? You know, Eamon O'Carroll and Paul Rowley, Lee Braze, the coaching team here at Saints, always knew that this was going to be a difficult task against a Bradford side that have earned so much respect, and the step up into Super League. They've been really good. And Dion's